It's a specific question.
Well,
what did Tompkins County do?
The descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and reprehensible to all of us. My job is to protect.
Is policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is
court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate.
There is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury to himself and to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy is not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his...
Hey everybody, welcome back to Freedom Forge, the channel where we speak the truth, expose the hypocrisy, and stand up for the American people. If you believe in law and order, strong borders, and common sense, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that Liberty Bell so you never miss an upload. All right, Patriots, today we're talking about something that should outrage every American who cares about safety and justice. I just watched the latest congressional hearing featuring Congressman Jim Jordan grilling New York Governor Kathy Hochul about the absolute insanity happening in her state. And folks, it's a case that perfectly shows why sanctuary policies are dangerous and why our leaders need to put citizens first.
Recognizes Mr. Jordan from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, third paragraph, second sentence in your written testimony, you said New York State cooperates with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in criminal cases. Governor, who's Jesus Romero Hernandez?
Thank you. I want to reaffirm that we do cooperate in cases where...
That wasn't the question. I just read your statement. I can read your statement. Who is Jesus Romero Hernandez?
I don't have the details on every single person in a state of 20 million people.
I understand, but this guy's a citizen of Mexico, deported 7 times, came to your state, assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, then when he was in custody, assaulted a corrections officer. ICE finds out this guy is in your state's custody, and they send you a detainer. You're familiar with a detainer, right?
Yes, I am.
Notice of action, immigration detainer to Tompkins County Jail from Syracuse Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Section 1, they check a couple boxes. The first one they check is a final order of removal against the alien has taken place. That means a court has said this guy needs to go. This machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy needs to go. Then they also check another box and they say biometric confirmation of who this individual is, this alien's identity. So they got the right guy, and a court has said he needs to go. Any idea what Tompkins County Jail decided to do with that detainer order?
I will tell you this, the state of...
It's a specific question.
Well,
what did Tompkins County do?
The descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and reprehensible to all of us. My job is to protect the people of New York.
Which is why I'm asking the question. What did Tompkins County do?
What I have responsibility for...
I will tell you, since you're not going to answer. We cannot and will not hold Mr. Hernandez. Yeah. We can't keep the machete guy who had choked a police officer and assaulted a corrections officer. We can't keep him. In fact, we have the back and forth from Tompkins County and ICE on January 28th of this year, 8:56 p.m. Tompkins County tells ICE, we're not going to hold this guy. 7 minutes later, ICE responds back, we will be there to take custody this evening. 24 minutes later, Thompson County reiterates, we're not going to have him. We're not going to turn him over. 10:45. ICE arrives at the jail. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, and guess what? Mr. Hernandez is not there. They couldn't wait 1 hour and 18 minutes for a guy who assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, and then when in custody, assaulted corrections officers. That is sanctuary policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is I control state police and prisons. We have turned over 1,300 people.
So you disagree with it?
We turn over 1,300 people. Did the sheriff make the wrong
call?
Those are local policies that we would not have done in the state of New York. State of New York, that is a local decision.
So you're saying the sheriff's wrong?
I would say this, if it happened in a state prison, we have already turned over 1,300 people.
Sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican, Governor?
There have been times, excuse me.
The sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican?
Excuse me. There have been times.
I ask the questions, you give the answer.
I'm asking.
Is he a Democrat or Republican? Do you know?
I'm asking for this moment to explain that I'm sometimes waiting for ICE to come pick up people.
Is he a Democrat or Republican, and do you agree with the actions he took?
He's a Democrat.
Do you agree with the actions he took? How about that question?
They are in conflict with what the state of New York would do.
Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times. We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We respond to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes?
Those are not the policies that we would have in the state of New York. Those are not the policies we would have in a.
Were they wrong? Should they have turned that guy over to ICE? It's a simple question, Governor.
That was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there.
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
It is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or disagree?
In the state of New York, the person should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state with respect to prison. And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor,
up.
A court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a crime. We turn them over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even condemn something that anyone with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the laws.
I had the facts here. Can I do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury to himself and to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy's not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell, we go back to his country under our orders for deportation.
Chair recognizes Mr. Mfu.
Let me break it down for you. The hearing spotlighted a guy named Jesus Romero Hernandez, a Mexican national deported 7 times, who still managed to come back to New York and commit horrific crimes. We're talking about assaulting someone with a machete, choking a police officer, and then, while in custody, attacking a corrections officer. This isn't some nonviolent offender. This is a violent criminal who should have been nowhere near the streets of America. So what happened next? ICE, the agency we trust to keep dangerous illegal aliens out, sent Tompkins County Jail a detainer order. For those who don't know, that's basically a request from the federal government asking the local jail to hold the guy for pickup because a court already ordered him removed from the country. They double-checked his identity using biometrics, so there's zero doubt they had the right guy. But what did the local jail do? Did they hold him for ICE agents to take custody, like any sane, law-abiding community would expect? No. They said, we're not going to hold this guy. ICE said, we're coming to get him tonight. Still, the jail refused. I showed up just an hour and 18 minutes later, barely over an hour, and by then, this violent criminal was already gone. Folks, if you want a textbook example of what's wrong with sanctuary policies, this is it. A guy who assaulted residents, choked a police officer, and attacked a corrections officer was released back onto the streets, even when federal agents were on their way to take him out of the community. Let me ask you, how does this make anyone safer? The answer is it doesn't. It puts every law-abiding citizen at risk for the sake of political virtue signaling. And Congressman Jordan called it out perfectly. He confronted Governor Hochul, who tried to dodge responsibility, saying it was a local decision, while claiming the state has cooperated with IC over 1,300 times. But here's the deal. If your laws and your rhetoric create an environment where local jails refuse to cooperate with federal authorities, that means your state is part of the problem. Governor Hochul kept trying to shift blame, saying, "I control state police and prisons, not the counties." But when asked if Tompkins County did the right thing, she finally admitted, under pressure, that the person should have been held. Yet, she still refused to outright condemn the sanctuary policy that let this happen. That's the problem. No one in these blue states ever wants to take responsibility for the chaos their policies create. And let's not ignore the politics here. The Tompkins County Sheriff is a Democrat, and apparently, some local officials are scared of being labeled renegade counties by the governor. So instead of doing what's right, they do what's politically safe. That's a total dereliction of duty. And get this, there was even an arrest warrant from the U.S. District Court. Still, the jail let this guy walk. That's not just ignoring a detainer. It's ignoring the rule of law and the authority of the federal government. If local officials can thumb their noses at a federal court order, what does that say about respect for our justice system? It gets worse. After he was released, Jesus Romero Hernandez was rearrested. And now, he's considered so dangerous he can't even leave his cell. So let me get this straight. He's too dangerous for jail guards to let out of his cell, but a few months ago, he was walking free in public because of sanctuary policies? That's not just irresponsible. It's absurd and it's dangerous. Patriots, this is why I will never support sanctuary policies. They don't protect immigrants. They protect criminals. They don't keep communities safe. They make them more dangerous. And they undermine the rule of law that makes America the greatest country on earth. If the governor of New York and her allies in the Democrat Party won't stand up for victims, won't stand up for police officers, and won't stand up for federal law, then it's time for the American people to stand up, loud and clear. If you agree with me that we need leaders who put the safety of American citizens first, who respect our laws and our law enforcement, and who believe in real accountability, smash that like button, share this video far and wide, and let your voice be heard in the comments. Should dangerous, repeat offender, illegal aliens ever be released into our communities? Or is it time to end sanctuary policies once and for all? Let me know what you think, patriots. And to every law enforcement officer out there, thank you for your service and your courage, even when politicians tie your hands. Stay informed, stay strong, and never apologize for defending your country and your community. This is Freedom Forge, where we fight for truth, justice, and the American way. God bless you, God bless our police, and God bless the United States of America.